Kia ora, welcome to Brew with a View. We're here with Mandy Bell, who's the chair from WAI Wānaka. It's amazing here, eh? Like, if there is Brew with a View, this is it. We've got a picnic basket, local cherries, apricots, all the types of tea and coffee you could imagine, and a stunning view of Lake Wānaka. So thanks for having us up here, Mandy. This is actually your farm, eh?
We're at Cripple Station. It's very, very exciting to have you here.
You live the dream, I reckon, eh?
It's pretty good. We do a bit of work on some days.
You're a local farmer here. There was an entity established in the region prior to WAI Wānaka starting up, and they wanted to get on the ground and do more doing rather than just being an informational body. Eh? Can you talk us through the process of how WAI Wānaka was established and what it set out to achieve?
So we've started WAI Wānaka, came through a couple of organisations. One you've mentioned, which is the Guardians, and we merged the Guardians with a group of three of us initially, and extended that. We called ourselves the Upper Clutha Water Group back in those days.
That's real imaginative.
Yeah, I know, and usually quite long, these words.
I quite like the picture of the Guardians. Eh? They seem like some hermits that live up in the hills here and watch down on the lake and make sure they look after it. Eh?
I think I will take the latter bit. They're here to look after the group, but some really good people, and sitting on the Guardians. And so alongside, and I was, for me personally, I came back from doing some work around the country, quite involved in the primary sector, increasingly environmental back then, and you come home and you say, what's happening at home? Saw and learned there were 13 really good projects which were run by industry, the council, farmers, but they were siloed, and the risk is that when they're siloed there'll be gaps and there could be overlap. So
they're not really talking to each other, not really sharing information.
Yeah.
Being limitedly strategic about the direction they're heading together.
Yeah, but doing really good projects in the space that they're in. So a couple of us thought we could look at this as a whole, and at the same time we had increasing pressures from urban growth and tourism. Before COVID, we were up to 1.4 million visitors a year coming through this place.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we were seeing pressures on the community, pressures on the environment, and we sat down together alongside a really broad stakeholder group. So that was urban, tourism and rural, regional councils, local councils, scientists, iwi, fishing game, the fishermen, the swimmers, and said together over six to 8 months, we figured out where do we want to be in 50 years' time? What is a really long-term vision? Then we backcast to where we were then and said, what do we know? What don't we know? What do we need to know? Do we need more science? And we got on a page a plan that we all agreed on.
So what was that long-term vision? What's the 50-year plan?
So the 50-year plan is having healthy ecosystems, community well-being for the future. So that's the big vision, and then how do we enable that? And that's what WAI Wānaka is empowered to do and mandated by the community because of that early work that we did as a really broad group.
All of that buy-in from all the different sectors of the community here. So how do we resource that? Like have you got any ideas how we fund getting that ground up sort of model?
Yeah. First thing I'd say is I think we don't have a choice. We need to figure it out. So we have to figure it out, and I think it's quite doable. There will be a number of models or sub-models that could sit in there, but the primary one is for government and community to work together on a core and a core sum that's relevant for that community to provide that base level of staffing to enable that community then to leverage in every which way, working with the community. Once you have that base, you can then, in each community, work with, there might be local trusts, there might be individuals that are passionate about something, it could be volunteers. So there'll be a number of ways again, that's really specific to each community of what's works for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys have been worthy recipients of the Jobs for Nature funding as well.
Yep,
And
yep.
we saw a team of 15 doing their chainsaw certs and getting out there on the hill to get rid of wilding pine. Hey?
Mm-hmm.
What role, that level of funding must be really good at getting that ground up engagement.
Yeah, absolutely, and particularly because we have a community catchment plan. It came in really good timing, the Jobs for Nature funding. Gosh, it's almost 2 years ago now, and the Minister O'Connor was looking at projects that could be happening through MPI, and contacted a few catchment groups. That's where we kicked off, and we had just signed off on our community catchment plan that we'd been working on for a year and a half. So we had a roadmap, we had a vision, we had a roadmap, and the roadmap was really centred around empowering the community and people through helping them to understand their water environment and the impact. Because when people understand the impact, you then get context and you connect with something, you think, I want to do something about that. How can I get involved? So that Jobs for Nature funding was great timing for us to make it easy for us to put a really broad program in for Jobs for Nature, from the weed and the pest control, plantings, care of those plants, through to biodiversity monitoring and freshwater monitoring. We've got some really cool biodiversity work happening, and then also working with landowners on greenhouse gas plans.
It's incredible to get insights into your projects, Mandy. Wānaka is probably a few steps ahead of many of our projects in our country, so it's great for you to share your experiences, for other people to learn and share your insights. It's really cool. We appreciate you having us here and sharing your amazing brew with us.
Well, it's fantastic having you up here on the hill, looking out over the valley, and increasing what's happening around the country and communicating better. That's what we need. So,
legend.
Really good.
Keep up the good work, and we look forward to seeing you at the conference.
Excellent. Thanks, Sam.
Cheers.